This is Michael from the Board Games Chronicle, and today we shall talk about Eastern Roman Empire. Yes, you hear me well. Today, the game which I will be presenting to you will be Sword of Orthodoxy, titled by Ben Madison, published by White Dog Games, and it will tell us the story of the rise and fall of the Byzantium, so the Eastern Roman Empire, from 421 up to its fall to the Ottomans' onslaught in 1453. This is yet another great game from Ben Madison in the so-called State of Siege series. However, with a twist, as we shall see, there will be some twist to this game. What we will do today is kind of an overview and unboxing. So we will show the components, we will explain what's inside, but we also touch upon the rules and we also touch upon the game mechanics. So it's not purely, oh, how beautiful components are here, or whatever that does. We will also explain a bit the mechanics. The games from White Dog Games are very nicely produced. A small box, it's solitary game, one player. At the back you would have an explanation, some information what game will feature, some of its counters, very nice, they are thick ones. I like the White Dog Games, counters, they are thick ones and very nice in touch. Also the map, and what is all about, about Constantinople, about Byzantium, about the Eastern Roman Empire. So let's see what do we have inside. First of all, if you played earlier games by Ben Madison, you would be seeing a lot of familiar areas, familiar solutions, so this should not come as any kind of a surprise. First of all, the rulebook. This rulebook is interesting because it's not very glossy, a bit glossy, just to make it very nice looking, but not hurting your eyes when you read with the artificial light. First thing which we have is introduction. So Ben gives you some insight into the history he will be telling, into why he wants to tell this history, into some stereotypes connected to the history. It's really cool stuff to have this introduction. It's like kind of a designer note, but to some extent it's also background of the game. Then we are getting the actual rule book, in which first of all the text, which is in purple, will be the designer comments to the rules. I prefer to have a comment to the rule next to the rule rather to have a very long section at the end of the rule book, because you will never read it. The blue ones will be the examples of plays. So we'll learn about what kind of components we have and equipment. So this is the first thing, about the paths, about how to set up the game, how do we do the cheat draw phase, because the game will have 27 turns and you will be drawing the cheats, will be driving each and every period. Each cheat is about 40 years, if I remember correctly, yeah. And then this is a pretty procedural game, so you need to follow all the steps one by one. So turn, start, phase, for example, usually some event, something like this. Yeah, when you have leadership phase, probably you can do something. Then you will have taxation phase, you will get the money. Synopsis of histories phase, I believe it might have some things which were happening during those times. You see there is the option to make it less scripted, so it will be even a rolling die for those events. Yeah, barbarian phase, of course, they will do something, and the cheats will be showing you what will happen, so you can to some extent at least prepare for this. Byzantine action phase. Yep, beautiful picture. And turn and phase. This is how we determine victory. I will not be going into the details of this. This will be something which I will rather do in example of play, which I would like to hopefully do. At the end, or at the back, you will have also some tables, which will be, helpful. So, Crusades table, War in the East table, and Ottoman Empire table. Yeah, which will be impacting, this. Remember, this game is on a pretty strategic level. 1,000 years of history of one of the greatest empires, yeah, which survived for many years. Remember, the Eastern Romans always treated them as Eastern Romans. There is this notion in West that the Rome has fallen in 1476 and that was all. No, the Rome survived another 1,000 years. Do you know that the name Byzantium was coined out only in 16th century to call the Eastern Roman Empire Byzantium and that way remove its connection to Rome by the Western historians? I just learned this, so this is really interesting. Now, what do we have here? We have here the counter tray. Usually in Ben games, you would use this counter tray to have all the stuff sorted and easily be able to take them out from here to the map. But you have also for alpha, beta, gamma paths the reserves. Ben will mix two approaches to State of Siege in this game, which we shall see on the map. The traditional approach where you have the path with steps, and the other one where you have only one box in which you put armies which accumulate there and then potentially attack you. The first approach was in the older State of Siege games. The second one is like in I believe in the Great War Kriegspiel, those two games. Then we have the history. The history is actually the random phase of the game. Let me just take it out. If I remember correctly, in previous games of Ben, you were rolling a die, adding the turn, and you were getting the number. So it's semi-random. To some extent, some of the things can happen in random way, but of course, if you have turn 10, you know that the result will be from 11 to 16. So this is somehow limited. And you have military events and you have political events. Optional rule allows you to roll 2 dice, 1 black and 1 white. So it's a little bit more, crazy. And one will be military event, and the white will be, and the other will be political event. So they will not be connected. It can be like from here and from here. It might be interesting stuff to play that way. Here we'll have a sequence of play, as I told you. This is a pretty scripted game, so you need to follow it one by one. Although after a couple of turns it will be to large extent self-explanatory, and some of the things will happen only once during the game, so you don't need to worry about them. Then what do we have here? We have a campaign scenario game setup. So we first put the counters here, and then according to this instruction we will put them on the map, and it tells you exactly how to do it. Then we have a map, and for this let me just move the box here because I want to show you the map to you. Plexi is probably the best way to play this, we're using the Plexi. And this is not a large map, you can see almost the whole map here. What do we have on the map? First of all, we have Constantinople, the center of gravity of this game and the center of the empire. To the left, you will have 3 western paths: the north, Italy, Balkans, and Africa, Crete. So the north, the west, and the south, you may say. These are marked with Greek letters alpha, beta, gamma. They are They are here, and they work in a similar way like in the Great War. So you don't have steps on this path, you simply accumulate here more and more units. I believe 5 is the threshold. After the 50 unit, if you still need to activate this path, they will attack Constantinople. So this is similar to the Great War. Here you have the eastern paths, and they work slightly differently, and they reflect slightly different, enemies. They work with those, how you call it, places. There was a very nice name of themes, yeah. This will be themes, and those zones are the eastern ones. So the Syria, Persia, and Iberia. And there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 4 everywhere. So in order to make damage to Constantinople, they need to go through this, of course. So it's a different way of actually approaching the Constantinople from that side. So here is a traditional state of siege part of the game. Here is, you might say, the new one, yeah, the one which was introduced by Ben in the recent titles of his. What else do we have? We will have the dynasty, Basileus, so the ruler, and patriarch here. There is a space for omnibus marker track. So everything you need to keep track of, money, other stuff like this, you keep here. Here will be the mark when you will be drawing for military and political events, so some of those things will be happening. Here is the turn marker, 27 turns. You can see also the years. There are some mandatory events here, and you will be putting here the turn markers. Other events, we have Crusades, we have Arabia. There will be some additional spaces on the map connected to specific events like Egypt, Holy Land, Egyptian religion. Yeah, here's Sicily, Spain, Rome, and the Pope. Yeah, true. Bulgarian Church, all Kiev. All these things will be also taken into the account. The counters, which we'll be playing with. Let me just grab them. Here they are. Sorry for moving this. Here are the counters. And what kind of counters do we have? First of all, we have those turn counters, you see. It shows which paths are being, activated, and some additional events. I will not go into details now, but enough to say that those things, you will be drawing 27 out of 28 during the game. So even in the last turn, you will have to draw from, so you will not know exactly which will came out. Then you will have the enemies. You can see the enemies for those 3 paths here. These are the Hun Slavs, these are the Vandal, Venice, Moors, Saracen. Here we'll have Normans, Goths, Serbs. So depending on the path, different enemies, and they will be accumulating here. As I told you, they will not be moving on the path. They will be accumulating here. Here we have various other armies which will be fighting with us. Here we have patriarchs. Yeah. What else do I see here? Here will be type of a ruler we have. So those tokens will be drawing every turn, and they will be showing the ruler. Yeah, here are also the rulers. Latins, I believe, connected to the Crusades. Christians, okay. These are two-sided. As you can see, they are always two-sided. Path B, yeah, path gamma, and there should be other paths here. Path gamma, you can see here. This path, yeah, is beta is here, so exactly. So the Goths, Serbs can come from the Italy, Balkans. Yeah. It makes sense. There are also some additional tokens I'm not, familiar with yet. I will get once I, of course, read the whole rule book and start playing the game. So looks very juicy. I really like the look and feel of this game. Another great State of Siege by Ben Madison. A lot of Rome. This is something which is always present in Ben's games. You learn a lot about history, and he put so much heart into this, presenting those things to you, making them much more accessible and really interesting here. So I will play this with a great pleasure. I definitely would like to try to survive with Eastern Roman Empire and see how we will fare. Yeah, that would be very, very interesting. That's all for today, guys. If you liked this video, do not hesitate, give a thumbs up. If you'd like to never miss new content, kindly please subscribe. Every subscription is important for such a small content creator like the Board Games Chronicle. Also, below the video, you will see the comment section. Feel free to share your comments, opinions, questions. I will also post the links to my other, materials for the Ben Madison games, like the Mission, like the Global War, and so on and so forth. So hopefully you will enjoy them too. For today, that's all. Thank you very much for being with me, and thank you very much for watching.